Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anil Gower.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my friends, my fellow developers. I'm very excited to be here today. I have an opportunity to share our vision, our strategy around Java EE. And I know many of you have been waiting for it anxiously, so here we go. We have a very well-defined plan for Java EE 8 and Java EE 9. But before I go there, I would like to take a step back and let's see how Java EE is doing today. You have many implementations to choose from. The ecosystem remains very healthy and vibrant. And all major application server vendors have their application servers now offered in the cloud as services. So Java EE has made its transition to cloud very successfully. And you have a countless applications running on Java EE, both on-prem and in the cloud. So this is great for Java EE. And the ecosystem doesn't end there, right? There are numerous open source projects that extend Java EE platform. There are so many frameworks, that are leveraging Java EE components. And I think overall, this is all great for you, the developers. If you're writing any enterprise application, it's very likely that you're using something from Java EE, whether you realize or not. So what's next? What should you expect from Java EE over the next couple of years? And what's the theme for Java EE next? So the theme is right here. It's the new app dev style for cloud and microservices. How did we get to this theme? So the answer comes from the kind of challenges developers are facing, you guys are facing. The world around you is changing. Some of you are getting restless. You are demanding more from the platform providers. As we move to the clouds, you have to work with distributed environments. You have need for more agility, more flexibility. You're moving from physical infrastructure to virtualization. And there is a shift from monolithic applications where you package entire functionality into one application. Now you have many, many smaller units of your application that you develop as microservices. And the last thing here, there's a fundamental shift in how you package and deploy your applications. Traditionally, you have an application running for you. You deploy your application, probably more than one. But that's not true anymore, right? It's flipped 180 degrees. Application is the boss now. Application decides what's packaged. So the runtime is packaged with the application. And you want just enough runtime. If you don't need a class, a framework, why should you carry? So all of these problems kind of need something to change in the platform. We need to fine-tune. We need to optimize the platform so it can evolve to solve these problems. Let's also look at the cloud development model. When you look at cloud development, you're more likely to see a heterogeneous set of clients, probably using mobile, REST, HTML5, or some JavaScript. At the back end, you will have some traditional RDBMSs, or more and more people have started to use NoSQL DB. You have data streams and some other options there. And what happens in between these two, you have a collection of services, microservices. Typically, they are stateless, but some of you may need stateful services. And what you want from these services, you want the flexibility of managing the life cycle of these independently. You don't want to be relying on a person sitting next to decide when your service should be rolled out. And you want it to be scaled independently. So think of Amazon, right? You have multiple services. You have one service that provides list of all the products, another one that you use to place order. And the scale that you need for these is different. So what's the issue here? It's not like you don't have solutions to solve those problems. In fact, you have more solutions than you probably need. And that may not be ideal, unless you are an advanced developer, Adam Bians of the world, you are, Johan Vos, who can write an app while sleeping, or Arun Gupta, or David Blevins. They can solve all the problems with Java EE as it exists today. But we need to think of, developers, next wave of developers who may not be familiar with this, but they still want to write next-generation applications. Where do you start? It's more likely, you go to the internet, you search for what you are trying to do, and then, if you have hundreds of hits, you may lose all your hair before you can figure out, where to pick the right framework, what's the right way for you to go, whether it's based on the standard, whether your application will be portable, so you can protect your investment. And these are the problems where I think Java EE can help you. So Java EE has been so successful because it provided you a comprehensive platform, a platform that provides you all the APIs that you're likely to need for your application. When you're writing your wide variety of applications that need scalability, transactions, and you should be able to do it in a portable way, so you're not locked into any vendor. So all of these aspects, they've worked really well for Java EE, and we want to bring these benefits. We want to extend these towards the new world. And that will be beneficial for the entire ecosystem of Java EE. One thing I want to make sure here that whatever I'm talking about is a proposal, right? This is a community process. We'll go through the process. We'll form expert groups where, major vendors, some licensees, community members, jugs, you'll contribute. And it'll be the expert group that decides what goes in individual JSRs and overall at the platform. So let's step into some technical areas of focus. What are we planning to do to address the challenges that I just mentioned? So first and foremost, the programming model itself. The programming model has to change. We are looking at reactive-style programming that's centered around distributed data streams. So the reactive programming model will be extended in JAX-RS, JSON binding, JPA, and many other specifications. We also plan to bring in the benefits of HTTP 2.0, Lambda from Java SE. And we need a unified event model that all the components within the platform can use to surface the events or consume those events. So there'll be an event messaging API. Another thing is the eventual consistency. The traditional way of managing transaction, the ACID transaction model, is not so suitable in the distributed environment. You want things to happen fast. You're not storing information. It just keeps moving as streams. So I think eventual consistency will play an important role there. We are seeing more and more people started to use key-value pair. It's for storing simple data structures or your documents. And the next thing is security. No matter what you do, you would like to make sure it's secure throughout the platform, especially when you work in the hybrid clouds, where some services are not in your cloud. So all of these things become very important. The standards play a key role. So we'll introduce a standard way of managing the keys and secrets. We are seeing OAuth and OpenID Connect becoming very, very popular, so bringing those into the platform. Next is the location transparency. So you would like to scale your services horizontally. What needs to happen if you want to do it? You cannot afford to have the configuration tied to the service or state tied to the service. They have to be externalized. They have to be stored somewhere else. So we need the APIs to manage the configuration or the state, so it can be stored in an external set of services. And then once, let's say, you figured out the programming model, you figured out how to solve the transparency, resiliency becomes very, very important. So imagine, you have an environment where there are thousands of microservices running, hundreds of versions of those microservices running. And the system is under stress. Things are bound to fail. When they fail, is there a mechanism that the platform provides, a standard way where you can deal with the failures? You do not want any particular service to fail and bring down your entire system. So we would like to kind of have circuit breakers, bulkheads, those concepts in the platform that can isolate that problem to a particular microservice that's failing. The command should be resilient. If something fails, are there corrective measures? Are there some steps, some workaround that you can try in an automated fashion? So these commands become important. And next is the standardized health reporting. If you cannot have a standard way where each service is reporting health, there's so little you can do to manage the environment and run it. Now, next is the packaging model itself. You're seeing the trend where you're packaging your services or your applications runtime into containers. We're seeing Docker being used very frequently. So as I said, we need to separate out the configuration, from these packaging itself. And we want to enable to package more than one artifacts. If you have multiple services, you should be able to package that within one container. We also want to be able to leverage some Java SE features, as Mark was just talking about here, modularity. So there's JLink there that can help you pick the kind of libraries, files you need. So it will help you package just enough runtime with your application. We're also seeing that serverless is gaining more and more popularity. Right now, it's only useful for very, very simple applications. I would like to see that expanded, the same concept, where as a developer, all you care is about your code. You should not have any knowledge or should not be required to have any knowledge of the runtime. You throw your code in there, and it's someone else's responsibility to run your code as efficiently as possible based on the parameters you define. So we would like to kind of introduce that concept and then grow up from there. The last thing here is multi-tenancy. In our own cloud, when we build the cloud, first, basically, you want to make it work, right? Once everything is running, then efficiency, this comes into play because every vendor cares about margins, right? You are competing with someone else out there. So density becomes very important. There was a time when we were buying memory every week. And who wants to spend money on those things? So having multi-tenanted support in your services can help you make it run more efficiently. You can do it at the container level, or you can do it at the VM level. It depends on how much density you really want. So all we want here is to be able to have a notion of tenant ID in the system and a unified way of propagating that tenant ID throughout the system. So this slide is just a recap of the focus areas that I just talked about. So these are various areas we are evaluating, and I expect these to surface as JSR, or set of JSR that will be included in Java EE8, and some will go into Java EE9. And how the architecture picture might look like. So the blue box in the middle, that's the Java EE runtime that has all the APIs that I just talked about, some from the existing version of Java EE, some new ones that we are adding. It probably will run on a container runtime, front-ended by an API gateway and load balancer. On the right-hand side, you have your data stores or some shared services that your services may be using. On the left, you have some supporting functions or tools that your environment may be using. So those of you who are familiar with Java EE, you tend to look at features in the form of JSRs. Automatically in your mind, you start to map it. So Java EE9 is the most recent version of EE. These are the set of JSRs which are already there. And the ones in the darker blue box, these are the JSRs which are going through major enhancements to support some of the use cases that I just talked about. At the bottom, those orange 2 boxes on the left-hand side, these are new JSRs that got added to EE8, and we'll continue to invest there. And the last 2 here, configuration and health check, these are the 2 new JSRs we are proposing to add to Java EE8. Let's look at the roadmap. So we are in the planning phase. Soon enough, we'll start to file some new JSRs. And we would like to finalize Java EE 8 by end of next year. We should be able to ship it by then. Subsequently, a year from then, we would like to finalize Java EE 9. And the work on Java EE 9 will start right away. So it's not like once we are done with EE 8, then we start on EE 9. And that will help us finish those on time. So far, you've heard my perspective on Java EE or what we want in the future of Java EE. Now, I would like to hear from our elite partners, customers, and community from across the globe. What do they think of the proposed set of features? So let's have a warm welcome for our elite guests. Thank you for making time for being here today. I highly appreciate your time. So, Benjamin, you're from CERN. Let me start with you. So you do some cool R&D, right? You do some research on particles, and I heard you have a lab that spends like 17 miles or something that works on tiny, tiny particles.
Exactly.
And somewhere there is Java EE, right?
Yes.
And what I just talked about, it plays a role there. So can you share with the audience, what does it mean to you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, speaking in the context of CERN, we are collaborating with over 600 universities and institutes all over the world. So the concept of federated identities and talking to remote identity providers is getting more and more important. So by having platform-provided APIs for standards like OAuth and OpenID will definitely be very useful, in my opinion. Also, CERN is operating its own on-premise cloud, and it also provides support for Docker images. Mm-hmm. So by having the platform supporting this kind of packaging, I think it will add a lot of flexibility to the application development teams. So I'm looking forward to see these features shipped, and I think you're on a good way.
This is great, great news. So next, let me welcome Mr. Kazumura from Fujitsu.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. So you have been a partner in Java EE community for many, many years. You also are EC member in our JCP. You have investment in your interstage application server. So tell us, what role standards play or compatibility, how is that important to you?
Okay. The first version of Fujitsu interstage application server was released in 1998, just 3 years after Java was born. And Fujitsu has also been a member of JCP Executive Committee since its inception. Since that time, Fujitsu has worked to bring Java EE standard and technology to Japan and other countries while updating interstage. And now, one of the most important things that our customers are considering is how to migrate the application to the cloud. In that sense, I'm very excited the new Java EE technology for the cloud that you explained today. And with those technology, Fujitsu Interstage will propose a new application development model for the cloud. And I believe this will be able to migrate the application to the cloud easily with Interstage. Thank you.
That's great. Johan, you're the face of the community here. You've played an instrumental role. I would like to hear from you. What do you think the community will think of the proposed roadmap and where you would like to see it go?
Yeah, thanks, Anil. In terms of technical content, I think the areas that you mentioned, the programming model, the packaging, APIs to access to external services, make lots of sense, and it would be great additions to the current Java EE platform. And I believe that the community agrees that it's important to attempt to standardize them. Why? Well, for example, with Gluon, our focus is on driving mobile users to the cloud using Gluon Cloud Link, which is a service that automatically synchronizes mobile users to backend services, such as the Oracle Cloud. Now, the more standardization in that area, the more developers can focus on their core business functionality and the less boilerplate code that they have to write for accessing external connectors and so. So it's important to standardize this, but it's going to be a difficult task. It's very ambitious, especially the time frame, and challenging, but I believe we can do it. And one of the reasons I believe in it is because, well, you mentioned the JCP. And we have the JCP that will help us. In the JCP, Oracle can work together with the community and with other initiatives in order to standardize these important areas. So we're looking very much forward to work on this together in an open and a transparent way.
That's great. So you touched upon aggressive nature of the schedule. I am counting on you. I'm counting on the community members. You have to help us, to get there. It's all about collaboration and community effort. Once we are there, I have no doubt that, we will not be able to deliver. So let's do it. Okay, next, let me introduce Mr. Murakami-san from Hitachi. You also have a significant investment. You have an application server, Cosmic Nexus. So you tell us, where do you see value in the Java EE platform, and what value you see from some of the proposed features that I just mentioned today?
Thank you for inviting Hitachi to San Francisco. And we are very pleased to be here. And I'd like to, on behalf of Hitachi, we are very excited to hear about the new direction of Java EE 8. And Hitachi is a social innovation company, and one of our key technologies is Cosmic Nexus application server. And our Cosmic Nexus application server users, customers, will be very happy with the new direction. And now with the move of Java EE 8 towards cloud and microservices, it will be possible for customers maintaining the existing investment. And they can now move to the new cloud and microservice era. So it will be a great help for our business, and it will be a great pleasure for these IT technologies.
Okay, so this theme of cloud and microservices is in line with your business objectives and where you're seeing your customers go.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Okay, Marcus, welcome to JavaOne. Thank you for making time. So
Thanks,
I heard
Amit.
you have a large and complex ERP system that's built on Java EE. So what part of the Java EE Next proposal you find exciting for you and your customers?
Well, a lot actually, but in the short term, business-to-business collaboration between our customers and their partners is growing very rapidly. And managing third-party access using enterprise directories is becoming too complicated these days. We also start seeing a need to expose certain ERP functionality to individuals. And of course, those individuals would expect to be able to use their online accounts. So we need support for standards like OpenID Connect to be able to provide secure token-based access, making IFS applications more accessible. So we're really looking forward to that, and we're happy to see that as part of your proposal. Slightly longer term, there's a lot of the functionality that you've shown here today that makes perfect sense to us.
Awesome. Yeah, I could imagine you would care about the security.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, let me introduce Mr. Kushinove. Welcome to JavaOne. And you also have investment in Java EE. You have an application server, Web OTX, and you're seeing some trends in your customer base. So tell us how that's aligned with Java EE Next and what you find more exciting from your customer's perspective.
Okay, thank you for giving me the chance to talk to this way. NEC welcomes the announcement. I think proper direction for Java EE is to extend the cloud capabilities, including additional support for microservices and containers. This direction is consistent with the focus area of NEC and lots of NEC customers who start implementing lots of softwares on the cloud. So we are looking forward to see the specs, different implementations, and TCKs very soon.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Alan, so good to see you again. So you are a financial institution, right? And I'm assuming you will also care about security features.
Yes.
But in addition to that, anything about containers or other features that I talked about, anything resonates more than others for you?
Yeah, definitely. Today, we have been using JE for many years, and today we are running multiple applications within the same cluster. That's within the same JVM, and that works fine as long as the applications are well behaved. Looking at paradigms like microservices and continuous delivery, the number of deployments will increase, and so will the frequency of the deployments of applications. And that requires a different level of autonomy. And that's why the future JE applications in NuCredit is going to live inside Docker containers, destined to be distributed and balanced across clouds. The end goal being a competitive and cost-effective infrastructure that allows us to scale capacity proportional to the business activity level. So I believe that's really going to help NuCredit stay the preferred financial partner for homeowners in Denmark.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, now, next, Shinichi Orakawa from Sompo, Japan.
Nice to see you again.
So you are in insurance business. You have a large and complex application. You have thousands of developers working on it. And I heard that you migrated from a legacy application to Java EE. So tell us how that's working and what are you most excited about, in the Java EE 8 or 9 roadmap?
Okay. Sompo Japan is one of the largest P&C insurance company in Japan, and headquarters is Tokyo. And now we have a huge size of core application, and to reduce our cost, we need to shift to open platform. So last year, I joined JavaOne here and discussed with many experts, and also including some of the spec leads. And I confirmed to use EE7 for this core system platform. So my point is two. First one is financial industry system. This is a very, very confirmed. We need to confirm how we proceed our future. So strong vendor support is mandatory for us. And the second point is microservices. In the near future, we need to shift our architecture to microservices. And E7 and 8, 9, we usually continue to use this architecture. So our new team, we need to have a high expectation to support our business
No pressure
success.
on my team if you're sitting here. High expectations, Assistant.
Thank you.
So thank you. You can keep this. So looks like the common theme is that you all care about compatibility, portability. You are moving towards container-based deployments. Microservices is more and more being seen in a data center. So overall, I think the theme of Java EE Next and the proposed feature set is resonating well. So it's great. Thank you again for being here. Let's give a round of applause for our guests. Someone is texting me. I'm sorry. I was not expecting this. So looks like there are some developers who need to see more code. And unfortunately, I didn't have slides to cover more code. But I cannot decline requests from developers. I care for you. So let me see what I can do. Some telepathic connection with my colleague. Let me see, Abhijit Kumar. If you're there, please step out. Hey, you made it.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit. I'm glad you're here. I hope you brought some slides, something that you can show. We would like to see some more code level details.
I did leave my laptop here, and accidentally, but...
accidentally, I like it.
Let's open it up and see what we have. But I've been told that we are also running a little bit short on time. So I want to get right to the code, and let's switch very, very quickly. And it's a very straightforward application. You go see this application. This is trying to get a wish list. And really, what I was going to show, which I'm going to get to right here, is that how we are going to simplify development of reactive code. And then, of course, let's go quickly switch how you go deploy this to a Oracle Cloud Java EE console. I really apologize that I do not have time, but for those of you who are going to come into the JavaOne booths, we can show this demo to you. All right.
So thank you. Yeah, we will have more sessions under the booth. So,
All right. Thanks, Anil.
Just to summarize, so Java EE remains healthy and vibrant. It's very widely adopted. The new theme for Java is cloud and microservices. We are embracing reactive programming model, so it will be introduced throughout the platform. And we are extending the benefits of portability and standards to this new paradigm of how you write applications. And we have a broad community support around it. I would highly encourage you to get involved. We are transparent, so when we get on the expert groups, please do sign up, help us shape the future of Java EE. We also have a survey that we are rolling out, so take some time, please provide your feedback. We want the platform to be relevant to you, to your business. And there are some additional sessions if you need more technical information, so I encourage you to go attend those. And with that, I would like to wrap up this keynote. Thank you for being here today. We have a great show, an exciting agenda that's lined up for you. And now go out, have fun, have some beer, mingle with your developers and your friends. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.